Really talking about parts of ourselves refuse to negotiate. What is he talking about? Well, there are the inner fears that we hide from everybody. We pretend we're tough, when inside we have doubts and fears and insecurities. There's issues with anger and pride, where anger shows up to mask our true feelings. Where pride shows up because we're afraid to show the world, to show ourselves who we really and truly are. I don't know, anything. Refuse to negotiate. Once in a while in my life, a control issue shows up. Once in a while. Once in a blue moon, you know, a control issue shows up. I know I'm alone here. I might as well just give this talk to myself. I could see myself here. I know I'm alone here. No control issues, right? No. And then, you know, there's this need that shows up, not in me, but in everybody else, the need to change other people. Never me. You know, I negotiate with that all the time, and I win. What's the other thing that really sort of blocks spirit? It's a belief that happiness is something we can find outside of ourselves in people, places, or things. Okay, that is a part that we need to negotiate and recognize. Happiness begins within us and goes to all the people, places, and things that we're a part of. We can't absorb it and pull it in. We have to be it and shine it out. And so these behaviors, fears, insecurity, anger, pride, control issues, they create disasters in our life. They create tension because they're not healthy behaviors. They don't create what we want to express in our life because they come from a place that says, I am lesser, I am not enough, I am no good, the problem is this big and God is like that big. And so what happens in these moments is we find ourselves like Dr. King in Birmingham. We find ourselves alone in a jail with the reality of the situation. And so that is when we have to label it as either creative opportunity or a crisis. And here's the good news. I'll start the good news off right from the beginning of a 4-part series. We already possess the prime essential ingredient to triumph over every challenge that will ever show up in everyone's life in this church, and that is faith. Amen. Faith, real faith. Real faith, a deep, positive action of our mind that tends to enter our life and move us to action. That's real faith. What is real faith? Real faith is a strong inner feeling that we know we already have the power to weather through any storms that blow into our day because we can look back and see how far we've come. You know, some people, they do this naturally, you know, at least to a degree. They always seem to move through stuff. Change never really affects them. And I recognize the common quality of those people is they become the change that they want to see in the world. They don't wait for someone else or something else or another, you know, person to change. They become the change first. You know, we got to talk Friday. We came here on a Friday night service on the first Friday of the month. And there's a great talk, man. It's hot. It's a great talk. It's a great talk on change. And it really is. And they're available, you know, for a love offering in the bookstore. You know, I've listened to it. It's a powerful message. Change is a process. When we want to change our personality, when we want to change our fears, when we want to change anger, pride, or control issues, let me tell you, I wish it was just as easy as changing my shirt. I wish it is. But I'll tell you something about my shirt. I change it every day. So if we want to change patterns in our life, we have to be willing to put on the new idea, the new shirt every day. Because this is how we train ourselves to stimulate positive, practical, Christ-like responses to life's challenges. I mean, we just finished a 7-week series on the Sermon on the Mount. You remember it, right? Yes. Somebody remember it beside Gussie, that is. All right. All right. And so what is the ultimate theme is to enter into the potential of spirit. To pray, to ask, to believe in everything, to recognize that life moves through us in everything that exists right now. Everything. And so accordingly, I'm believing that everything that is in us can show up and act upon everything that is outside of us. So whatever's outside of us, whatever the issue is, whatever the bill looks like, whatever the health challenge is, whatever the problem is, there's something greater inside that is being called forth to act upon that which is outside. So, no one can ever fail to accomplish great things when they take all that is in them and apply it in that very present moment. That is why I say that faith is the cure for every catastrophe. You want to know some things about faith? It's free, it's everywhere available, and it's unlimited. You're not going to use up your portion of faith for this life. It's free. Doesn't cost you anything. It involves changing your mind. It's everywhere available. You know where your faith is? It's in the church, but it's not only in the church. It's in your home, it's in your job, it's in your relationships, it's in the supermarket, it's at the gas station, it's at the bank. It's recognizing that the faith is there that makes all the difference. Faith itself means to be entering into the very spirit of the best idea that we can conceive. We don't have to settle for a mediocre, faith-filled ideal. Because mediocre and faith are opposite. That's fear. Fear is what invites lesser ideas into our life today. Faith is free, it's everywhere available, and it is unlimited. There is no limitation. When we conceive ideas, we literally conceive life by holding on to the ideas. And so what I'm recognizing is it doesn't serve us to enter into crisis mode when a challenge shows up. Come on, you know what crisis mode looks like. You can see it on someone's face. When they're in crisis mode, before you even, you see it coming. When you're in crisis mode, instead of radiating faith, you're taking energy. When you're in crisis mode, you're like this sort of like, metaphorical black hole. And I could tell because I'll stand next to someone with crisis mode and I'll just be like, I'm melting, help me. I'm not doing anything. Everything's fine in my day. Everything's coming up great in my day. And I just have to walk next to someone and it's like, woo. Come on. You know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm talking about, crisis mode. They don't have to say a word. They do not have to say a word, and the roses just, wilt. Crisis mode doesn't solve crisis. Did you hear that? It makes matters worse. In crisis mode, what happens in crisis mode? Well, we habitually think of the worst. Habitually, we're thinking of the worst. Because you know how crisis mode always starts with 3 words. Who said it? Who said it? Someone said, oh my God! Oh my God! I can't pay my bills. Oh my God! Gas is too expensive. Well, what is the difference of, oh my God, I can't pay my bills, and oh my God, answer my prayer?